Welcome to One Stop Co-op Shop. As you can tell, this isn't Colin. I'm Steve. We're going to do something a little bit different today in that Colin and I are going to be at GenCon this week. So we wanted to provide you a little bit of content while we're at the convention. And we thought, why not do a top list for GenCon games coming out? And so I will be covering the top 5 cooperative games that will be for sale and the top 5 cooperative games that will be for demo at GenCon. This could be a combination of games that I think you may be interested in as an audience, and some games that I personally am interested in. So hope you enjoy the content.
So to start off, let's talk about an honorable mention, and that being Too Many Bones Undertow. Too Many Bones Undertow is a 1 to 2 player game. It is a standalone expansion essentially for Too Many Bones. Colin actually has a great video of this on his channel if you want to check it out. But basically, you're playing as gear-locked characters. And you're using these discs on playmats and leveling them up and trying to proceed through a mini campaign to fight a boss. And each of these characters has their own dice and player mat that you can use to upgrade the character in different ways. So this one is set in a water environment, but you can take the base game characters and combine it with this set to increase the player count from 1 to 2 players all the way up to 1 to 4 players. So that is Too Many Bones Undertow. Continuing with our countdown, let's move on to The Reckoners. The Reckoners is a 1 to 6 player game set in the universe created by Brandon Sanderson. If you're not familiar with the setting, it takes place in Nukago, where powerful epics or superpowered beings exist, but they are evil. And Reckoners are normal humans that are looking to take down these superpowered beings. So in this game, you're going to be trying to defeat Steelheart, but before you can do that, you need to research his weakness and fight other minor epics throughout the city. If you can do that before the epics take the city of Nukago from population to 0, you win the game. Mike has created an excellent 5 and 5 video review of this game. If you're interested in seeing more, I recommend checking that out. And that is The Reckoners. Moving on to number 4, that game is The Captain is Dead Lockdown. I had to put this on the list because I love stealth games. If you're not familiar with the premise is this is episode 2 from the original game, which was episode 1, The Captain is Dead. In episode 1, you were part of a spaceship, essentially Star Trek, where unfortunately the captain met his demise while aliens were attacking the ship and trying to board. In that game, you're trying to engage the jump drive to escape the alien assault. This game is a standalone expansion representing episode 2, where you did escape the alien assault, but unfortunately you were later captured and thrown into alien prison. In this game, you're trying to escape that alien prison. So it plays 1 to 7 players in about 90 to 120 minutes, and that game is The Captain is Dead Lockdown. Number 3 on the list of top co-ops to purchase at GenCon is Forbidden Sky. Forbidden Sky is the 3rd installment in the Forbidden series, Forbidden Island being the first and Forbidden Desert being the second, and this one looks pretty cool. Basically, you are trying to create a circuit to power a rocket and escape before lightning and other weather events cause the floating platform to fall out of the sky. If you're not familiar with the game, Forbidden series tend to be family focused with fun gameplay. This one plays 2 to 5 players in about an hour, and that is Forbidden Sky. Moving on to number 2, that is Detective, a modern crime board game. This game plays 1 to 5 players, in which you are taking the role of police officers and detectives in a modern setting trying to solve a crime. It is a digestible game, meaning that each of these crimes you try to solve, they have a definite solution. You won't be able to replay it unless you happen to forget all of the information. A very interesting thing about Detective is you're trying to solve 5 cases by using resources outside of the game to do it. By that I mean you are researching information online by Googling different information, and there's actually a website where you can actually punch in information and look up database information on various suspects. Each of these cases are tied into an overarching story as well, so be on the lookout for Detective a Modern Crime board game. And we finally reached number 1 on top co-ops to purchase while at GenCon, and that's going to be SEAL Team Flicks. I chose this one because it has a very unique combination of elements that I couldn't find in other games. That being, this is a cooperative dexterity game with a branching campaign. So the premise is players choose to be members of a SEAL team, hence the name SEAL Team Flicks, and you are setting up different scenarios and flicking discs and shooting at terrorists around the corners and trying to rescue hostages, locate different parcels. It's all scenario based. Some of the cool elements about this game are these mini challenges where you have a separate board outside of the actual map you build, where you are trying to, for example, take a sniper shot and you have a picture of a scope down a range and trying to flick a disc to hit different targets on that scope. This does have a persistent campaign, but it's none of the elements are destructible, so you can play it again and again. And that game is SEAL Team Flicks.
And that's going to wrap up our top 5 games to purchase at GenCon. Let's move on to the top 5 games to demo at GenCon. And let's start with an honorable mention, Adventure Island. Now unfortunately I don't have any pictures to show you yet for this game, but I'll just talk about it on this video. So this is a 2 to 5 player storytelling game, and the premise is everyone were on a luxury ship that happened to get shipwrecked, and now you need to survive. And the interesting thing about this game is your decisions are supposed to have permanent effects as you play the storytelling game. So I love the shipwreck theme, and the branching narrative sounds pretty interesting, and the fact that this is replayable and not a digestible game sounds pretty interesting. So that is Adventure Island.
Moving on to number 5, that's going to be Gloomhaven Forgotten Circles. Gloomhaven Forgotten Circles is the first expansion for Gloomhaven. It adds 20 new scenarios after the original 90s or so scenarios you play in the base game. It also adds 1 new character class you can unlock. That is Gloomhaven Forgotten Circles.
And time to move on to number 4 on our list. Unfortunately, this one we also don't have any images to share, but that is Valiant Villainy. It is a 2 to 6 player superhero game in which you are creating your own superhero or supervillain by creating your own action deck that consists of a bunch of cards that come from an offensive power, defensive power, or utility power, and combine these into one big deck. And you use this deck to attack your enemies or try to complete the scenario. So I look forward to this because I'm a sucker for superhero themes, and be able to construct your own deck sounded really cool. That is Valiant Villainy.
Number 3 in top co-ops to demo at GenCon is Lantis Rising, 2nd edition. Lantis Rising is a cooperative worker placement game where you're trying to build a cosmic gate to save the citizens of Lantis from the sinking island. The interesting bit about this game are the worker placement locations at the edges of the board offer greater rewards, but at the risk of the action being lost by the sinking island. If you're able to construct this gate before the entire island sinks, you win the game. It plays 1 to 6 players in about an hour to 2 hours. And that is Lantis Rising. Number 2 on our list is Commonnauts. This is the 2nd iteration of the adventure book series that started with Stuffed Fables. In this game, you are entering the mind of a doctor, Dr. Strobel, who's in a coma. And he is the only answer to stop this singularity that threatens to consume the world. So you are trying to enter various different coma zones, they're called, to eventually reach an inner demon that holds Dr. Strobel hostage. It plays 2 to 4 players in 90 minutes to 120 minutes, and that is Commonnauts. And finally, number 1 on top co-op games to demo at GenCon, and that is Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Core. Now this game is by Gale Force 9 and it's based upon the Aliens IP. So while I am not a huge fan of Aliens IP, I still like the movies. And this looks like a fully cooperative game where, as far as I can tell, you're running around as the core, fighting off these Xenos. There's not much released about the game, so that's kind of why it's high on this demo list. I really want to check it out, but they did show a few miniatures. So let's hope this one's good. Aliens, another glorious day in the core.
And that's going to wrap up our GenCon preview list for 2018. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please let us know in the comments below. And if you are attending GenCon, please feel free to reach out to Colin and I. The best way to reach out to us is by joining our Slack workspace. If you want to join the workspace, you can email us and we'll send you an invite, or we'll put a link to the description below. In that Slack workspace, we have a GenCon channel where I will be posting news about where we are and what games we're playing, so it'll be the easiest way to find us on the fly. Anyway, hope you enjoy this content, and I'll see you at the next stop.